Welcome back, Nerdiverse, for a brand new episode of MOTN Lore, where you choose an object of lore that the masters of the Nerdiverse deliberate and decide how important is this item in the overall core Nerdiverse of that universe. It's such big deals. We are the masters of the Nerdiverse. I'm of course Mike G. With me is the man himself, the arbiter himself, Wash. What's going on, sir?
What up, bro? You know what? I forgot the audience picked this task. I thought you picked this task.
Oh
No,
no. We are
no,
not
that
the
was the
we
audience picked this
no.
task.
We
That's
are
right.
not. Yeah, it's them, dog. We can set them up, they knock it down, bro.
Well, I am doing well. I'm excited to be here to discuss all things Halo arrays and what's not and WTFs. So, yeah, man, I'm stoked. This should be a good one. I This should be a good one.
Yes, sir. Let's not stand too much on ceremony. But before we get started, I always have to ask everyone that if you like this content, there's a thing you can do if you like it, and that's called like the content. Do that anywhere you're finding this podcast, maybe on Spotify or YouTube or even Instagram. Comment. Let us know what you think of Halo. What you think? Let us know what you think of the Halo arrays. And lastly, subscribe so that you're made aware of brand new content as it comes live on the channel. With no further ado, we are getting into the meat of it. Halo, man. The Halo arrays is what we're talking about as this object of power. Your thoughts?
Okay, I want to start with my experience with Halo because Halo goes back a ways. Like we're not talking, 2012 type of stuff. We're talking like first generation video game lore. This is where this was based, grown. My general experience with Halo was the first one. I remember getting pretty far in Xbox, OG Xbox, but I definitely remember that being one of my first forays forays into the world of multiplayer and Xbox Live. And I was not a big fan of how the truck drove
The
and the
Warthog,
guys
yeah.
jumped up, right? And so when the second one came out, I was like, all right, and we skipped all the story. You know what I mean? I just played some multiplayer on that, and that was fun. And then Halo 3 looks dope. You know what I mean? And then I was 40 minutes in. I'm like, I get it. So me and Halo go way back because it's something I've always dipped my toe in. I've kept my eye on. Um, I was a fan of the television show until we did this lore, and now I kind of understand what everybody's upset about a little bit. So, the Halo array and me, you know, we're we're new friends, but old acquaintances.
That's a very good way to put it. Man, the Halo array, Halo itself, combat evolved, man. Like you, I was one of those kids who had an Xbox, you know what I'm saying? And this was one of the very first games you got, right? It's kind of like getting Duck Hunt on the Nintendo. It just came with the system almost. And growing up, it was a lot of GoldenEye 007, which was kind of my introduction to quote unquote multiplayer. But this was like the next logical step. You know what I mean? This was kind of like, this ain't your granddaddy's GoldenEye. This is Halo. We got, what I'm saying, we got guns and stuff. So growing up, Halo was kind of like a change of atmosphere when it came to video games. This was the big thing. You know what I mean? And it was a very big deal. Halo 1 was insane. The whole idea of LAN parties and stuff like that.
I mean, and I don't want to take it too far off left field, but you're like, if Halo fails, Xbox fails. You know what I
Yes,
mean? And it's like that's a statement, but it could be true because Halo was a generational type of turn in gaming for a lot of folks.
it's funny you mentioned the TV show because when playing Halo's one of those games where you never paid attention to the lore. You know what I mean? You just, hey man, we're just gonna squad up. We're gonna get some Pizza Hut for the night. We're gonna play Halo until we throw up. You know what I mean? That was the night with your boys. You know what I'm saying? With the squadron. We running sets on the Halo array and have no idea what it means. We have
Nope.
no idea of the stakes and any of
Nope.
that. We're just having a good time.
I'm
Right?
coveting.
I'm covenant. Hell yeah.
That's it.
Don't touch me. I want the needle gun. That's all I want. I just
That's it.
don't bother me. And it wasn't until Halo 3, Halo Reach, Halo ODST, when you're much more mature and you're starting to say, okay, what is actually happening? Who is Spartan 117? You know what I mean? Why is this game? And that's when you start going down the rabbit hole of the titular Halo. What is this thing? Why are we fighting on it? You know what I mean? What is its importance? So that's why I'm really happy the Nerdiverse chose this one, because this is a topic we would never talk about just casually. Like how often do we bring up Halo
No.
on the
In
channel?
in 10 years, I don't think we've brought up Halo once. We've got
Once.
Doom a couple of times, but like Halo is not a reoccurring theme. In the Halo array, it's never come up in
Never.
conversation. So,
I've never said those
um,
words before this before this lore became a thing. Why would I talk about it? Who do you talk
there
about
you
this
mean the
to?
needle gun? You know what
Yeah.
I
Oh, you mean
mean, right?
the cyber sword?
Master Chief.
Master Chief, Doug. Cortana. Oh, you mean that app that was on your phone? That predated Siri? Because people forget that Cortana was an actual real app. They made that
Correct.
shit on the app before the series and what's the one now, Wash, that's on Apple devices?
Siri?
Not Siri, the other one.
Oh, stop. Uh, my
Fuck.
my brain's
My
just gonna
brain is
go right
fried.
now.
We're too old. We're
Sorry.
too old. We're too old. It's
Like
fine.
it's not gonna come to me. So
No,
go
it's
on.
fine. But the Halo arrays, I think, are the titular Halo. And it's like, what are these things? And I think that's a very good segue into our first uh talking display. What if you could give me an elevator pitch of what the hell is a Halo array? Would you be able to
I
do it?
I am so glad that you asked, Mike, because in order for me to do this podcast, I needed an elevator pitch to explain what the hell this is. You want to know what the Halo array is? It is, I wrote it down. It is,
Uh-huh.
and I quote, the worst last plan ever.
We talk
It's
about
the
that.
worst
Hmm.
last plan
It's not.
ever. And not only is it the worst last plan ever, but they did multiple of them to make sure in triplicate that things were
If you're gonna
either
do
dotted
something
and
right,
T's are crossed,
if you're gonna
right?
do something
So,
right, you do it right the
um,
first time.
in short, before we get to the end at the beginning, a Halo Array is an installation that is made to fire off in order to destroy all sentient life to stop the dreaded flood,
Is this
which
the
I want to say took my brain, adult brain, three Halos brain plus video game brain, took my brain a good 6 to 7 hours to really wrap my head around what are we doing right
what are
now?
we doing right now?
What are we
This
doing?
well, I like the way this episode is going. I already like the way this is going. It's like, here's the plan, guys. We are the forerunners, right? We're talking about more about the forerunners later. We're the super ancient, super technological god race, and we're stymied, bro. We don't know what to do with this shit. We're fighting the humans. We're in this forever war. Now we have this whole other problem that the humans done brought their bed bugs with them, and now things are getting gross. Now they're starting to bounce on our beds. How do we stop this, Doug? What's the answer? Oh yeah, we just annihilate all life in the universe. That is the only answer.
And look, I'm not looking at the slide deck for everybody who's watching this live right now. I'm not looking at the slide deck, right? Look, how do we come to a conversation that destroying all sentient life is the
Oh,
best
the
plan
best
we
plan.
have?
They said I had to do a little bit of research myself because I'm like, what? They said
Yeah.
they had literally had tens of thousands of plans that just didn't work out. Go back to formula. Back to formula. We can't fit. How do you solve a problem like Maria? How do you solve a problem like the flood? I guess you just don't.
And I'm glad you say that because the Halo raid being an interesting lore topic, the flood in itself is an
Self.
interesting lore
We
topic
talk about it,
within the
bro.
like universe because it's
Hmm.
like what in the world, where else have we seen something that is absolutely so terrifying that everybody's like, yeah,
Fuck it. Just, you know
all
what?
of it.
Whatever. All of it.
And we're
All
not
of it.
just talking about Earth here. So,
No.
if you're kind of shades of Halo, like there are people, planets all over there. There's people everywhere, right? And they're like, yeah, the entire galaxy's gotta go
Gotta,
because of that
because of
over
that
there.
situation, we
Yeah,
need to scorch Earth,
yeah,
everything. Like,
everything.
this is the
Right
only
now.
solution. This is the only solution.
Yeah.
And we're gonna divulge all this resource and create these arcs that are halo making machines. And we're gonna spread these throughout the cosmos because of this one problem.
Now, I would like to dip a bit into. There's two books, Cryptum and I can't read my old handwriting, but Silience. I couldn't get to the second one, but the first one I did get through most of. And just so that you are aware, these books kind of follow the forerunners, right?
Hmm.
And so, as you mentioned, there are these technological, like all knowing, like not necessarily all knowing, but they're problem solving types of people that are better than just your average Joe. Let's put it that way. I
Right.
know we're coming to it. They put together this plan 7 times. There's 7 Halo arrays, these
That's right.
super large installations that are that are ran by artificial intelligence as a fail-safe because, well, yeah, if one of the flood were to, like, I don't know, get through, we couldn't have
You
that.
can't. No, at all. It's funny you mentioned like the artificial intelligences that run each uh
Yeah.
e-
The
each
oracles.
array, the oracles. And it reminds me of, remember, did you ever watch The Core, where it's about the Earth's core being needing to be restarted? So
Yes.
they planned out these 7 arrays to be strategically placed across the cosmos, so they'll fire off in sequence to ensure maximum saturation. So it's almost like dropping rocks in a pond, and those ripples will not stop until the entire universe. And how they do it is they cripple all life's nervous systems, so nothing can nothing can grow, nothing can reproduce. It's the most brilliantly stupid idea of all time.
Luckily, there's one forerunner, a doctor of some type, who's like, you know what? This is a terrible idea. Let me go and do like the Noah's Ark type of thing, which is interesting because that they use Ark and gather up, this, that, a couple of people. We're gonna place them away from everybody to ensure that they don't get touched by this halo because civilization's going to be wiped out. And you know what? They did it. The Forerunners, they did it. They flipped the switch on this. And I think that's important that we talk about. And I'm not sure if it's there,
It's going
like
to
in
be
the
there.
slide, but it's like you flip the switch. Not only did you build it, you flipped the switch on
He fired it. Yeah, it's kind of like, and we talk about it into the next slide, the ultimate fail safe, right? Um, it's almost like Ozymandias in Watchmen. Oh, do you think I would tell you my master plan if I haven't already done it? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I flipped the switch 10 minutes ago. There's no way you're stopping this. And they've already reset the galaxy once over this nonsense. And that's how we got where we are now. Because the flood, I guess, are so astronomically problemsome, like worrisome, that it's like, yeah, God, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. But what also makes, and we're going to talk more about the forerunners as being cowards, is because even they had a measure of preservation. Yeah, we're gonna ice the entire universe, but we're gonna be okay though, right? Nah, man, just chill on the ark. We'll have some of our people over here so that when everything gets destroyed, we'll be around to make sure that the universe is rebuilt in our image, and we'll replant the earth and we'll redo this. But the flood, we're gonna keep that under wraps. Did they wash? Was this truly the ultimate failsafe?
I again, like when I think about the flood, and it's like, how could something be so terrifying that if it's a issue over six galaxies over, six planets over, if one spore gets out, you know
That's
what I
it.
mean? That is crazy levels types of fail safe. So, the thing that I found myself thinking about is, okay, let's say a zombie apocalypse broke out, closest
Hmm.
thing, right?
Hmm.
How is destroying everything the best option for anybody? So when you say the ultimate fail safe, it's like it's a fail safe, but I don't know if it's the ultimate, which
I
I
mean,
hadn't considered your comment about cowards, but there's
what's more ultimate than absolution? I mean, what's more finite? What's more infinite than everything? Like,
right.
if this doesn't do it, nothing will. And what's sad is it still didn't do it. This ultimate failsafe that they created as a stopgap, we're just going to destroy all life because it wouldn't be worth living as a part of the horde of the flood hive. And it still got out generations later. You know what I mean? So is there any real true solution to the flood? I mean, throughout the
Well,
entire series?
I guess I find myself conflicted with, the Spartans, because at least the
Hmm.
Spartans, the US Spartan Corps, they
America.
were willing, America, they were willing to stand up to the flood. You know what I mean? In our fallacy, in our hubris, as you like to say, and probably would have just got gunshotted over if everything is true about these dudes. I mean, they built a halo. I'm assuming it's true. I can only go about what's out there. So I think that parity between the two decisions is very interesting in this story, because the flood is still a threat, but we didn't necessarily flip the switch, even though we had the
We
opportunity to.
got pretty damn close. What the problem was is that I think the story of Halo is really the story of church and state, right? The USF is, America F yeah, Master Chief. That's all the state. This is how we run things. This is how things are gonna go. And then you have the Covenant, which are the most holiest sect I've seen in probably a lot of fiction. These guys aren't playing, and they thought that the Halo was some kind of like divine right that was going to purify the universe. They had no idea what it was. They were, you know what I mean. No one did at
But
this
they were
point.
still okay with the thought of destroying everything to get their
Yeah,
godliness. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So again, you're stuck with this. This is the only option, is galaxies. We talk about this often in all types of fiction, galaxy world level threat. And it took me a while to wrap my brain around how this lore and the people within Halo see the plague, the parasite, as a galaxy level threat, even a bigger it's like a cosmic level threat, because it's
yeah.
intellectual and it can expand. So it's not necessarily that they're on this planet and they take over this planet. It's, oh, they may build a rocket ship with our technology and then go to the next planet over, and it's like, how do you fight that? It
How do you
reminds me
fight
of the
that?
Borg quite a bit. That's I found myself assimilation. But the parasites are not necessarily bad. I
You
found
don't you
myself,
don't learn that till way later though.
they're very true. I found myself thinking towards the end of the story of Halo, um, you know, could this have all have been like solved by Captain Picard? You know what I mean? A good cup of tea and
Could could
everybody sitting
could
down, and
talking solve the problem?
because it's not a good idea. Mike,
What would
it's not a good idea.
nobody wants to talk, man. Guns and fail safes and
Yeah,
guns. Nobody
yeah.
wants to
So,
talk, bro. So let's talk about the most non-talkers of all time. Who are the forerunners, right? These are people who had the bright idea to create these Halo installations, the artificial intelligences, this ultimate failsafe against a against a problem they had no solution for. We go back to it. And it just makes me think about like a lot of the ancient races in fiction, you know what I mean? The ones who were here before, almost like the ancient Egyptians in a kind of a strange way where they, they were so advanced, but not advanced enough to, like you just said, just have a conversation. Because if you would have sat down and said hi to a flood, it may have said hi back. And we learned that that was the case. So, in your thoughts, who were the forerunners to you?
But again, I'm gonna bring up not a Star Wars. I'm staying away from Star Wars on purpose, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
I bring up a Star Trek reference because they actually reminded me of droids, and they actually reminded me of how they treated Master Chief in the series, where they are this advanced technology, but they can't see the forest through the trees type of
Hmm.
situation. It's like the simplest solution is never the answer for the forerunners. It's and in the book, I can't remember his name because they're Sans, whatever the last
Hmm.
part of his name is. He's like, I want you humans to take me over there because he's a forerunner. And, he's wearing his armor, much like Master Chief's armor, because the forerunners found out, yeah, well, you know what? We're pretty smart. If we develop armor, we don't get hurt.
Hmm.
So you know what? Everybody just wears armor now, and now we're good. So the kids are like, "Yeah, we're only going to take you over there if you take off your armor." And he's like,
Yeah,
all
that
right,
doesn't make
fair
sense.
enough." He
Sure.
he wants to go over there, so he takes off his armor and he's walking through the sand, and he's like, "Yeah, the sand's starting to hurt my feet." And that's the forerunners. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
pretty
And
much.
so
Yeah.
that's the forerunners. And so it's like, where's my suit of armor for this sand? It is the epitome of, small fly, large hammer.
Yeah, pretty much. And they just seemed very, like you said, they're so smart that they're stupid in a
Hmm.
weird way. That like you said, they're overthinking the problem and not feeling it out. You know what I mean? I think that's the human element that is really just the Achilles heel for us in these victories in these science fiction, books and games and movies, is that these things are so brainy they can't feel it. They don't get hunches. You know what I mean? Don't like let's try this. They lack imagination for as intelligent as they are, and they pretty much like you said, tried to put a band-aid over a bullet. I would say the opposite of putting a band-aid over a bullet wound. You know what I mean? Kind of you know, like
I
we're
go
gonna
back
set.
to your
Hmm.
coward statement of like, at what point and they did try a lot. They did try a
Yeah.
lot. But at what point was, you know what, we're just going to go down with the shipping option? But
N-
when you look at a Halo array, if you've played Halo and you walk through a Halo array, these things are not small. These
No,
are
they're
large,
giant.
freaking Halo ring. You know what I mean? So it takes some work, some effort, some time to put all of this into place. And you know, they kind of got in their own way. They flipped the switch on themselves.
Yeah,
Like what
yeah,
can
they
I
got in their
say
own
about
way.
the Forerunners? I almost feel bad for them, and that's really what is interesting about us talking about the lore of Halo
Hmm.
versus the lore of what they're scared of, which is
Yeah, the flood.
the flood. Can't ever like the plague.
You might as well be. And
It
it's funny.
is.
It, and in another way, you look at it, the flood almost remind me of like indigenous population, almost like the Native Americans, you know what I mean? Or even like, Africans in Africa in a weird way, where it's like we can't control the situation, so we're just going to completely wipe it out and take it. And if we can't wipe them out, we'll wipe all of us out. No, if we can't have it, no one can. You know what I mean? Type of approach to this problem that, like you said, could have been solved with talking. And I kind of do have a soft spot for the Forerunners because, like you said, they just got in their own way. And but at the same time, them kind of hiding out on these arrays and hiding out on the ark does kind of rub me the wrong way. Where it's like, this is the ultimate solution for all life, but the Forerunners, we're gonna make sure that the you know the flood will touch no one but the Forerunners. So we're going to set up this artificial intelligence to run these things and they can't hurt anyone but the Forerunners. So it's like they they didn't put their money where their mouths were, almost, to an extent, even though they did push the button and they did it, but they weren't thorough. Like you said, they should have went down with the ship if that was the case, and let the future figure itself out.
And
Because
let
one
the
thing about
future if
Yeah.
Otherwise, what do you do? What are we doing? Why are we
Otherwise, what are we
flipping the
doing?
switch?
Just
Why are
let
we
just let
flipping the switch?
just let the flood take over. At that point, who gives a shit?
Who who knows? It may turn out to be better. Who knows? We don't know. You know what I mean? But if it's to the point of like, well, we're gonna hang out, but everything else will be cool. We'll figure that out. It's like, you again, it's a drastic solution to this problem. You know what I mean?
It's
And
way too drastic.
I, Halo. You love Halo, and it's like, did they even do the flood justice compared to the what it is we're actually playing? Like the concept we're playing, did they make the flood is scary enough in Halo? And it's like,
I think
no.
it was a problem of the nature of the game. If Halo was more Dead Space
Oh,
than
yeah,
Call of Duty, maybe we'd
yeah,
have understood the gravity of the situation. But we're listening to, when we were kids, we were here listening to Limp Bizkit, drinking Mountain Dew, and just mowing these things down
that's
without a
it.
care,
First
not
person
understand.
shooter, bro.
Yeah, what I'm saying, give me something to break, and we're just killing these shits. But we don't understand that all it takes is a spore to touch your human fragile skin, and you're just rocked. That's it. You don't even have to get bit by a zombie. Breathe in zombie air, and you're effed. You know what I'm saying? But that's one thing about the Mjolnir armor, is that it's impervious to flood. Um, it's like super molecule tight. So that's why that was the MacGuffin for Master Chief, that he can never get infected as long as he doesn't take his helmet off. But what does Master Chief do? He never takes his damn helmet off. No matter what, you don't see this man's face ever.
No.
So he was always not, unless they tear him apart, which they weren't going to do. Master Chief was straight. He was gonna figure it out.
And I'm glad you bring that up because thus far, and I'm trying to remember because I watched Halo when it
The
first
TV
came
show.
out. Yeah, the TV
Mhm.
show when it first came out. I don't think any of this was in Halo, the TV show, and
No,
his helmet was off. And it's like,
the
did
problem with
y'all play
let's talk about
Halo?
let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I was I shot this series so much bail, bro. I was like, nah, they're gonna get to it, dog. They're gonna get to it. It's season one. You can't not do the flood, right? I want to see the flood in live action. I want to see a Halo array. I want to see I want to see warthogs. I want to see we didn't get none of that, bro. The
Nothing.
whole first we didn't even get the arbiter the first
No,
season.
no. I
In
was
the second
I'm doing my research and I'm trying to think, and I'm not going back to look the show again. And I'm like, we didn't get any of this in the Halo show.
none of it. We barely got the Battle of Reach, bro. We got the Battle of Reach, which was dope. I'm not gonna knock it. And they introduced the flood on the last episode, and then it
I
got
didn't watch
canceled.
that one.
And then it got canceled. So they never did the flood. We got one episode of the Arbiter. It was like the end of season 2 was the start of Halo 2, and it sucked. It wasn't even the start of Halo 2. It was the end of Halo 1. We didn't get no forerunner. We kind of got the forerunners. There was this mysterious who created this
There
technology,
was
which
no
they always do.
prophet. There
There was
was
no
no
prof.
there was no brute.
I think there was one brute. I
Was
think
there
there was
one
one
brute?
brute in season 2.
Oh wait, he fought a
Yeah,
brute 101.
he
There
fought a
was
brute
one
one on
brute.
one,
Yeah.
and that
Okay.
shit was
Okay.
real.
Okay.
There's
Okay.
certain things about the series that were real.
Good.
So another thing I wanted to talk about
Disappointment.
is the legendary Battle of Installation '04. This is the battle where Halo 1 took place, Combat Evolved. The first time we see Master Chief, the war of the Halo array, the Covenant versus the military, you know, Cortana, all that fun stuff, Doug. And you realize that this is just a blip in time. You know what I mean? That's a lot of stuff happened before and a lot of stuff happened after with this. But why do you think that this battle is so important in the overall lore of Halo?
I mean, we fell upon it. Like if it's dark outside where you are right now, folks, if it's evening, there's a beautiful like bright red orange moon thing going
Beautiful.
on in front of me. So go check that out
He may turn
after.
into a werewolf
Oh,
afterwards. This
we're
guys,
not live. Pardon me. My
he
bad.
may turn he may
Uh,
turn into a werewolf after this, ladies and gentlemen.
uh, I think that it's important because had we not fell upon this, we would not have known what the prophets were doing,
Yeah,
right? We're cruising through space and we're like, what's this giant ring in the
what's
middle
that?
of space? And what are these ships doing around it, right? And so
Hmm.
we start off on an investigation mission, and had we not stumbled at that place in time, the prophets would have, wound up getting what they
Accidentally
needed.
wiped out the galaxy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they read, their relic wrong, and it brings back shades of Starfield and whatnot. Finding your relic, and you think you know what it's about, and it's like I don't know what any of this is about. Wait, I'm
You
who
find
now?
out.
What?
You find out real quick. F around and find out. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. But I like the Covenant as a villain. I think they're one of my favorite villains in pop culture, only because they're not wrong. They're just kind of like a little naive. You know what I mean? They're fueled by religious right. They believe that they're the chosen ones in the galaxy and they're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Even though they're a little bit pious, they still have honor. Like one of the Arbiter is so cool to me. He's one of the coolest characters ever because
Cool
it's
character.
like the enemy is my friend, right? Hey, Arbiter, your people are tripping. They're gonna unleash this thing that neither of us can handle. Okay, demon, because that's what they call Master Chief. They call him the demon. Okay, demon, let's team up and figure this out. You know, Halo 2, Halo 3, and then we get to Halo 4, which is on Earth, if I'm not mistaken, because the Reach make it to Earth, but this is the battle. This is the culmination. This is when the two sides start to cohabitate a little bit, right?
Yeah, but at the beginning of Halo, they don't know that they're friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
Hmm.
are they are desperate enemies against each other, one
Yeah.
battling the other, and thus, setting the stage for a great first-person shooter and what turns out to be a fantastic story, if not a little, like blindsided or whatever the word may be. It's like they kept a very tight story wrapped around what this moment in time represents, right? But again, the reason that this thing exists is because of the flood. And
Hmm.
we do see a bunch of the flood in Combat Evolved. I want to say maybe
It's like the
probably the
last stage
most.
of the game,
Yeah,
right?
it was like
Hmm.
the last stage of the game that was like all flood, and it's like, that's cool. That's cool, man. So I think it's important. I think that the fact that they blow it up is important because it leads to not only finding a second one, but realizing that
There's
there's more.
seven of
There's
them,
there,
and then
there's
a secret eighth. You know what I mean? It's like the
there,
problem just multiplied itself, and the um the installations almost remind me of Fallout. They remind me of vaults. You know what I mean? Because each installation's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Different things are going on. I think installations, one prime installation, has a corrupt AI in it that starts to work with the flood. You know what I mean? It's like I don't want to be free. So I want to let the flood out. Let's just kick it all off. I'm tired.
what is the
Interesting.
game with the robot Portal?
Portal.
I thought that there's room to open up this universe so that the portal robot turns out to be the oracle that are in these, and I was
Thanos.
like, that would be freaking cool because I like the oracles, I like the AI, I like their function, and they represent kind of a chaotic good type of function. It's like I see good in this way, so this is good, and damned any other results outside of that.
I love that Master Chief is so over his head in this entire kind of arena of stakes. It's like and all he could do is Master Chief. You know, he's the most simple kind of like he's almost like a giant Saint Bernard. You know what I mean? He's just like, I'm here to do a job and I'm gonna do it, god damn it. And you know, and he doesn't really get the gravity of the situation. It's like the Arbiter gets it more than Master Chief does. And it's Cortana that's kind of like, nah, Chief, we got to do this. We have to do that. You have to go here and blow this up. Why do you have to blow it up? Because it will destroy all. Oh, okay, that makes sense. You know
All
what I
right,
mean?
that's
And the
cool.
and the artificial intelligence is like, oh, I'm sorry, we've made a mess. It's been kind of gross in here. Now, I don't remember why were there floods on the Halo? Is that where they kept them, like in stasis or something, or did the problem just really reach this particular installation? I don't remember exactly.
That I could not tell you, but they were there at the
They
end
were
of
there.
Halo. They were at the end of Halo. I could not tell you because that first Halo is not necessarily fleshed out the way the other two and three or four become. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
they just made it very just they're
Kind
everywhere.
of like yeah. And also on the installations, weren't there like samples from all over the galaxy of other creatures so they can repopulate the Earth? I mean, repopulate the galaxy once the blink happens. Then they have like specimens from other cultures and
The
things like
doctor
even
might have placed them there. Like there's what
yeah.
the one forerunner doctor. She thought that it was a terrible idea to fire off these halos because they'd kill everybody. So she did what she could to try to preserve any type of life she could. And in fact, there was some sort of uh, uprising. I don't want to call it quite a civil war just because there were people on her side, which obviously, you know what I mean, Mike? Someone comes out tomorrow and they're like, hey, man, here's what we're going to do. There's zombies. We just found out. We just found out the zombie apocalypse is real, and so we have our what's the thing that we just put in the sky, the big laser telescope thing. So
Yeah.
our laser telescope thing's gonna fire a beam, and it's gonna take out all
Hey,
sentient life. Y'all
hey,
good with
watch.
that?
Hey, watch. You see, the problem is that we discovered an illness called COVID-19, right?
I wasn't.
And
I didn't say it.
it's kind of sweeping the nation. Okay, now we got this orbital laser that can shoot a rail gun on the United States. It'll solve the problem. The only thing is there won't be a United States afterwards. Is everybody cool with that?
And as we begin to wrap
Is
up
everybody cool with that?
our conversation about this like Halo array, it's like, Mike, this is kind of what I had to do in my brain to wrap my head around um a fantastic universe, but yet one that is so ill-equipped to
Deal.
come up with any any other
It's
idea.
it's almost it's almost charming in a way. You know, it's like, let's call a spade a spade. We don't
There was a
always
slide.
win.
Sorry about that,
Yes.
folks.
No worries. Threat of the dreaded flood. We could just kind of talk about them even more.
Yeah.
Where it's like this was such a damn problem that the greatest minds of all time, millennia of planning, tens of thousands of contingencies failed. We don't know what the hell to do with this, man. Let's just scorch earth and just wipe out all of existence. That's the only solution. And these things still don't die. They just go dormant. That's
And I
crazy.
think it's important to say, when you're infected by a flood, it's not just the flood
It's
taking
not
over me. The flood takes over me, all of my abilities,
my
anything that I control or know
strengths,
how to control,
weaknesses.
right? So essentially it's and we see the parasite in part 2, I want to say, giant parasite.
Mine,
Uh
yeah.
yes, thank you, Gravemind.
The
And
grave mine.
so essentially it has a bunch of tentacles out there controlling people. So I guess there's a conversation to be had, Mike, if it's like, hey, you know what, you're still going to be conscious while this grave mine is now controlling all your functions. Isn't that Scarlet Witch type of situation that we had going on?
Uh-huh.
I,
It's it's a
you want
fate
to
worse
destroy
than
the galaxy then?
it's a fate worse than death almost. It's merging into the whole. You know what I mean? You're going back into your creator. It all it takes is all it takes is a pollen, All it takes is all it takes is a microscopic bit of this to touch your skin, and you're just synced into this hive mind, and all of your agency is gone, and you look gross on top of it. Um, but it is a sentient life form that feels and thinks and strategizes. So is it right to just wipe this thing completely out, even though it has zero control of its spread? Doesn't even want to. And you find out that the hive mind is kind of like amicable. It's kind of like, all right, Master Chief, if they fire this thing off, we're all gonna die. And I don't want to die.
I don't want to. I'm like, I don't. I'm
What?
just chilling, bro.
Why you say f me for? Why you say f? I'm just out here trying to live, dog. I'm trying to live my life. And
Yes.
it makes you. It doesn't. It doesn't like gently put the idea in your head. It makes you sympathize with the flood. Like it's literally asking Master Chief for a deal. And it's like we've been fighting this shit for games, Doug. Like not giving it, not caring, mowing them down, and now it's telling us you were wrong. You were wrong to so fervently extinguish this problem because it's only a problem to us. It's not a problem to it. Makes you think a little bit, doesn't it?
It definitely tickled my Jedi brain because it's like, yeah, even if it is bad, it is sentient. You know what I mean? There is room, and this is where my point about a conversation is to be had. And
Yeah,
Master Chief and the Arbiter tend to, I don't want to say it's a fairly one-sided conversation as the
yeah,
parasites like, I'm going to tell you what's happening and you will listen.
yeah.
That's
Pretty
that's the
much.
conversation. But a conversation did take place between the parasite and Cortana where the parasite learned all this information about humanity, our
Hmm.
pros,
Wait,
cons, you know,
the
our
way of life.
destructive nature, things of this nature. So it's like there's something to be said about the flood being a threat because Lord knows humanity, especially the Spartan cores, are going to be seen as like, those are a friendly bunch of people over there. But I do think that when we are discussing the flood, and I looked for this in my research, like when you talk about the forerunners, like there's no flood side of this story.
No,
You know what
good
I
call.
mean?
Yeah.
There's no flood aside. There's no real reason about why the flood is doing what the flood does. It just does what it does and move. That's
Hmm.
that's the story of the flood. And so I don't know if it's explored in comics or other myriads of Halo lore out there, but that's something I'd like to see done because if you ask me today, just based upon reaction, and Halo is a completely reactionary measure. Dude, the flood, dude, that's got to be one of the most terrifying things any of us have ever heard of.
I'm trying. I'm hard pressed. You made a connection to like the Borg, right? Like clean a simulation. There's nothing you can damn do. You're just gonna get flooded. I hate no pun intended, right? You're just gonna get ran the hell over. I don't care how technologically advanced your systems are. I don't care how peaceful your I don't care how fervent you are in your destruction. You're going to get assimilated, and we're going to do what we have to do. And there's not many threats. I think of like the villains of Mass Effect almost, where it's like this unstoppable force meets an immovable object type situation where it's like, yeah, the Harbingers, I think is what they were called.
Harbingers, thank you.
And those
Yes.
things were just about as on even keel with the flood, where it's like, yeah, we don't have a solution to this problem outside of talking. We have to talk to these things because there's no other, we can't brute force this problem. And the forerunners were the perfect example of we have the most concussive force in the universe, and it still wasn't the answer. The worst answer, the most the most infinite answer, it's still not an answer because these things still had a way to get around.
And it's like, did we not try some sort of chemical compound? Like, what's the flood made of? Do we know?
That's
Do they
fucking
not like
cosmos
baking
stuff.
soda or something, man? Like, like, did we try baking soda and
Hey,
water?
did you try borax, baking soda with a little bit of sugar? Maybe that would have drove them away. You know what I'm saying? You didn't try to leave out like a like it'd be like a mosquito catcher or something,
It
like an ant
wasn't in the
trap.
gamer book. That's all I know. You know
You
what I
know,
mean? I don't know. Maybe they
Master Chief
did,
can
but
only have so many weapons, dog. You didn't have the
right.
little he didn't have
His
the little
little squirt
spritzer.
gun
You didn't
full of
have the little
like
spritzer,
lemon juice and water.
lemon
Get away
juice
from there.
and
Eh,
peppermint oil. Get out of here, you know. What would it took, you know? And I just think the like you said, in most fiction, there's eventually a time where the warring opposition is kind of ironed out, right? You know, yeah, for the alliance, for the horde. F the horde. The horde have to die. Can we talk to the horde a little bit and see maybe where their position is? Even the empire. That's one thing I love about Andor is that you get to see it from the empire's point of view. You know what I mean? What their ideals are, and and are there any decent humans among the empire? You kind of learn they're not, but at least they have feelings and thoughts and foibles. And but the flood don't really get a lot of representation. They're just this thing that needs to be eradicated. And the
and that's a
problem,
tough place to be. That's a
yeah,
tough place to be, man. Like you're like, yeah, I'm just doing my own thing, and
I'm just trying to do my thing. This is all I know how to do. And I'm really good at it, apparently. I'm very good at it.
I'm so good at it that they
I'm
built
so
seven
They built 7 god machines
just
to
to make
take me
sure it's
out.
done.
I'm still here, bitch. I'm still here, bitch.
still,
I'm
still,
still here
still here.
talking to you, Master Chief. If they built 7 of them, bro, and there's a giant god one out there just making other ones for me. That's crazy, man. Well, I myself hate it, and it's like I love that idea. That's why it makes me think of like indigenous like populations, you know what I mean? Like we don't care that this thing thinks. All we know is it's a threat to us. If it's a threat to us, then it's got to be eradicated. And that was the Forerunners' mistake. That was the Covenant's mistake later on, and that was our mistake. And it took Master Chief and the Arbiter to almost broker a peace treaty with this thing for the story of Halo to conclude.
Like they had to kill people. Like they had to push the button. You know what I mean? Like this, it didn't just go off. Like they had to do things to get this to stop because. And I was gonna say, you talk about the Covenant. They were almost worse than the Forerunners because they just got a relic. They looked at. They're like, oh, this path to
This is
power.
tight. This is
I'm in.
tight.
I'm in.
Power. Let's do it.
Open.
Open.
Open. We're good.
We are
But
des
have you considered? Nah.
No. Consider what? We're right. If I'm right, what do I have to consider? I am the prophet. I am infallible. I've
There
been
is,
told this has been promised to me since the creation of our covenant. We're going to do it. We
and
got to
there's
do it.
so much lore to be told there. When you look at the
Mm-hmm.
roles of arbiters, like when you're watching, you're like, ah, well, there's a lot of meat on the Halo bone. And I'll keep referencing the television show because that is the newest thing we've gotten, I do
Yeah.
believe. Um, they didn't cover any of it there.
It's such a waste opportunity, man. That show is so God. Talk about I was listening to our clip and it's like talk about like man, we just needed 10 more minutes. Give me 10 more minutes. And we could have made magic, man. This
Yeah,
thing could have been epic. They
yeah.
like, nah, bro. No, you got it. I want to talk about the importance to the Lord. I think this is one of our most important slides. And I almost want to save it until we score this thing, but I want to ask you, does this series happen? If you remove, you know how they say, if an actor has the same urgency as a lampshade, they shouldn't be in the scene. You know what I mean? Like if an actor has the same presence as a lampshade in that scene, then the actor shouldn't be in that scene because they're not providing anything to give that scene any kind of context or strength or meaning. If you were to remove the halo arrays, the physical items, would this could this story still be told?
I'm going to tell it to you like this because I was thinking about where does Halo go from here? And I thought, you can't really tell this story, but let's say we blow up all seven Halos,
Yeah,
right? And the US Spartan Corps and, the CID and all these people get together and they're like, you know what's going to happen? The floods are going to come here. You know what we need to do? We need to build something.
we need to build some more.
So you're like, if
Mhm.
the halos don't exist, I do think we get to right or wrong, right? Because when we look at about like the free people, but what from freaking Starfield, whatever town that the free town.
Yeah,
Anyway, when we look at the people, the people, we had the slide one. Thank you. The Forerunners. When we
the
look at the
Forerunners.
Forerunners, um, they were technologically advanced. You know what I mean? By all rights and means, they had the scientific theory and thought things through logically, and they got here. So if you're asking me if that admiral that we see at the funeral, if given enough time, will he get here knowing what he just saw? Yeah,
And that's a
yeah.
sad. That's almost like a dark, cynical ideal, and not to play devil's advocate a little bit, because it's what is it? It's if you don't learn from your past, you're doomed to repeat it. Almost, you know what I'm saying? And it's like we've proved this whole series is proving the forerunners were wrong, right? It's proving this was not the ultimate failsafe. This was the worst idea, and it failed. It literally failed. So I would hope, in that though the Halos are extremely important to the crux of this story, and I think they're absolutely the MacGuffin of the lore. And is Master Chief still going to float around? Yeah. The Covenant's still going to float around? Yeah. But like you said, the Flood aren't going anywhere. So what's the solution to that problem? And it's coexistence, right? So if you were to fast forward to Halo 10, what's the problem now if it's not the Flood? And we don't need the Halos if there is no Flood. Then how truly important are they to the future of the franchise? Maybe not so much, but to the core of the story of Halo, it's literally named after the thing the thing is named after the entire series. You know, I think that they're extremely important to this story, to this isolated story.
And they keep it tight to Halo. You know what I mean? They
Yeah,
don't expand into other threats within the galaxy. It
yeah.
is, oh, we came across this, and now they almost should have been called Project Halo. You know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
then it's its own book. They can wrap around that. I hope I hadn't really considered um, Halo 10, but I do hope that there can be a place for a Spartan Core on a different type of mission with just as many stakes
As this.
because it seems to be a relatively big galaxy if you can build seven of
Mm.
them and take out everything. You know what I mean? So that's just my little side note as I was thinking about Halo and coming off your comments for
And
sure.
I'll close this out with this. You said you were going to talk about Star Wars by design. Well, I'm going to talk about Star Wars. Just to help round this
All right,
out.
there you go.
This very much reminds me of the Skywalker saga. Where does Star Wars go after the Skywalkers, right? It's like the Skywalkers are so integral to the overall story of Star Wars. What happens when you say the end, right? And now we have to pick up moving forward outside of this monumental, almost like black hole of content that is so all encompassing. The halos in Halo is the halo. You know what I mean? It's the whole point of the story is the creation, the reason, and the functionality of these installations that are solving a unsolvable problem. But what happens when the problem is solved? End of Halo, right? Do these things? What happens to does Halo keep going? It has to. It's a franchise. What do we
And
do?
when you think about it, as a whole, these are fairly simple games too. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You go to an installation, you shoot a bunch of stuff, and
you
you
blow
get
it up.
home,
Yeah,
right?
you.
And
Yeah.
so, what do you do when you've built that box for yourself? And the term Halo. Um, Xbox owns Halo these days,
Yep.
Microsoft owns
So
Halo
far.
these days, and
Hmm.
it's like, so tomorrow, and we know how we are, if they come out and say, "Hey, we have Master Chief in Button," is everybody gonna be is stoked? Is jacked? It's Button, Master
Button,
Chief in Button.
button. Now, guess what the button is? Buy the game and find out. And it's like I don't give a shit. Like, like, like what? Like I don't what? No, I like it's. It's like
No.
dangle, dangle, dangle.
Nope.
Master Chief. He's in button. What's button? Buy the game and find out. No one cares about. You can't make button happen. You know what I'm saying? We want Halo. Well, Halo's
We
done.
we want Halo 6, or I think it's 6.
Yeah, it would be six, and
6,
that's why
yeah.
the other games kind of floundered. Like Halo. What was the last Halo game? It just came out. It didn't do well at all. It had
I
bad
can't remember
graphics.
the name of it.
It had
Yeah,
nothing to
I
do with
can't.
it had a whole new villain MacGuffin, and no one gave a shit. Right? It's like how do you
Infinite.
do infinite, right? Infinite failure. How do you do Star Wars without Darth Vader? It's so tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do it? You know? But here's a Jedi. No, we don't give a shit. No, we want Vader. I want Vader, and I want the breathing, I want the red lightsabers. I don't really care about anything else. And it's like the Halo, the Flood, the Arbiters, the Master Chief. We're gonna just leave all that. We're gonna do a new generation with a new set of problems. But Master Chief, though, but the Halo, though, I want to drive
I
my
don't do.
Warthog.
I'm
You
like, do I
know,
get my needle gun or no?
nah,
If I can't have my needle,
nah.
yeah, I
Needle
don't. I
guns
don't.
belong
What are
to
you
the
gonna give me? A bow and arrow?
yeah. And then you have the Mr. Marketing. I'm sorry, needle gun equals Arbiter equals Covenant equals they're no longer in the series.
Yeah,
Okay, do I get my plasma sword? Plasma sword equals Arbiter equals Covenant equals out of the series. Can we drive our warthogs on the Halo? There is no Halo. There is only button.
there's Button.
There's
There's Button
button.
with Master Chief.
Watch the
Buy it,
watch the video game awards. You'll learn more about button.
dude, dude.
Don't.
And
It's hard. It's impossible almost.
it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Oh, shout out to the soundtrack. Just dope. Just dope. Just dope. Just dope.
Ah,
Dope.
godlike Doug.
Yeah,
It's
but it's
that.
up there.
It's that time, Wash. It's that time for the lore power ranking where we scored this on importance to the lore 0 out of 5. I'm going to start with you, Wash. Let's just get to it. From a score of 0 out of 5 grunts, where does the Halo array rank in its strength and lore in the entirety of the Halo franchise? How important is it to the story on from 0 to 5?
5, because it is the worst last plan ever. And if they don't stop it, it's not oh, like something goes wrong, like everything dies. And I know we hear that in a lot of different tropes, right? But and this is my point, because I spent the last, let's say, 7 8 days thinking about what other circumstance is this the result? Is this what we come up with? And I have to tell you, I came up with very few properties that have, like, what do we call it?
Final solutions, Doug. You know what I'm saying?
Like final solution type shit. Like drink the Kool-Aid and we'll all be happy to go, like the
Yeah,
prophet
Angel,
said. And
Heaven's Gate type stuff, dude.
so I'm gonna give it a 5, simply because, like, we were just talking Button or Halo. You know what I mean? Could you
Hmm.
have had Halo without mentioning the Halo array? Sure, you could have had On Ground with, like, the Flood, and the game probably would have been called, like, the Flood. You
The
know what I
flood.
mean? So
Hmm.
I'm gonna go 5 as an overall lore topic. I think that as far as an installation goes, this is like Death Star times 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say worse than the Death Star, man.
Yeah.
Like, uh So one thing we talk about a lot on this channel, and one thing that you're really, I would say, fervent about is it's got to have stakes, man. This show has no stakes. This property has no stakes. I don't feel invested in the plight of our heroes and villains. And I think about the Halo installation as the ultimate stake because it's so final, right? It's like you have to choose the Halo installation. The Halo array is heaven. We all get to go to heaven, right? Or the flood, which is hell. We all get to go to hell. No matter what, we're all gonna die. You know what I mean? So choose your heaven or hell. And all Halo is about is finding Earth in the middle. We got to figure out something in the middle because the Halo array is not really an answer for the preservation of life. Neither is the flood. They're two extremes of the same kind of solution, right? They're two extremes of the same outcome. And all Master Chief and Cortana and the Arbiters, they're trying to figure out to do is like, how do we not die?
How do we not die?
You
Yes,
know what I'm saying?
yes. I mean, the admiral's like, yeah, I don't know if you're gonna live or
Uh,
die, and I'm probably not gonna be around to
no,
see
I'm not
it.
gonna be.
So,
None of us are making it, bro. Like, how do we solve this? This is a big problem. The
no.
stakes have never been higher. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Like, it's everything. It's literally everything on either side of the wall. And it's like you can't have heaven without hell. You can't have, you know what I'm saying, absolution or damnation. It's it's like it just doesn't exist. That like there needs to be a balance, right? And the Halo arrays, these physical installations created by angels pretty much to solve the problem of hell, even though it's just going to cause everyone to die anyway, it's like you can't the story doesn't exist without them. The story doesn't move without them. They're the ultimate MacGuffin.
I was like, if you get to the end of Halo Combat Evolved and you don't like win, everything just ends. Like your copy of Halo 2
Just
ODST, it just evaporates like the Back to the
nah, nah.
Future
Your
photo, bro.
Xbox starts smoking like Mission Impossible, dog.
Like, yeah,
This game will self-destruct in 5 seconds. And that
it's
shit
all
just start.
gone.
It's gone, dog. You fucked up. You fucked up. You
You
lost,
fucked
dog.
up.
You
Yeah.
only get one
You,
shot, dog. That's it.
you only had one shot
You
and
now
it's
you gotta
gone.
rebuy the game. Now you gotta rebuy the game,
No,
stupid.
Xbox don't even exist anymore. Not in your
What?
reality, bro. No, it's gone.
Nah,
You lost.
nah.
You
We just
lost.
you
You
just
watched
hey,
that
guess
shit just
what?
disappear.
You lost.
Mm.
We set off a what is it called? Electronic pulse. And we pretty much set your house back to the Stone Age. You can never play this shit again, dog.
This is the final solution. This is where
Ultimate
we're at.
solution.
So
So
Halo, right? Damn it.
I can't think of anything bigger than this shit, dog. Like it's the most busted, like worst answer. It's like the answer to death is death, right? I rather serve in heaven than rule. I rather rule in hell than serve in heaven, right? It's like either you turn into a gross bestial flood beast and you're living like a faux life, or you let us take you to heaven. You know what I'm
Maybe.
saying? All of us are going to heaven, dog. Except for us. We're gonna hide out in the ark over here. Literally called the damn ark. We're
Oh,
gonna
oh
hide out in
God,
the
we
ark.
didn't even talk about the Ark being the place where they house the main control center for all seven.
Such
In case
bullshit.
something were to go wrong on one of the seven, they're like, oh, well, we have an AI here who can just fire them all
Just
off
fire them
here
all off.
individually, and it's fine. So
Yeah,
don't
manually.
even
Don't
worry
trip.
about it.
Don't trip.
What?
Maximum saturation. Don't trip.
Why? This is the
Because
best idea. Like
the best idea.
if I'm in a meeting tomorrow and this comes out as like the best idea, I'm like, all right, I gotta go.
I guess I'll
I
just
can't
quit,
be a
dog.
part of
I
this.
gotta be with my family, dog. Y'all got me fucked up.
What we gonna
I'm
do?
not co-signing any of this,
What we
dog.
gonna do? So
So
yeah.
I'm gonna give it, and I hate to do this because I'm almost like I have to give it a 5. It's a 5 out of 5, but I reluctantly give it a 5. I reluctantly. This is a very reluctant 5 because I'm almost it's against my will. My arm is being bent behind my back on this 5 because you don't get more important than this. You know what I mean? You don't get more important. This isn't Mjolnir to Thor. Thor will be Thor without the hammer. That was proven in Thor Ragnarok. This is the series. Like Master Chief, all that doesn't exist if these things don't exist.
And we saw what happened when they don't exist in a live action format,
It button.
right? Button. Like it didn't work out for anybody.
It didn't work
So,
out for all of us, dog.
there is some credence to what you're saying. And, I don't want to say mine is a reluctant five, but I do understand your hesitancy
Yeah, I
because it is such a stationary,
because
non-functional like
it's so
entity.
forceful. It's so
But
like it's so forceful. It's as forceful as the flood. And it's like, well, Master Chief is the main character. Why is the Halo more important than Master Chief? It is because without it, Master Chief does it. Literally, Master Chief just dies
yep,
without it. Right? We all just die without this
yep.
thing, without the threat of it. It's almost like a nuclear deterrent. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is the button, and we push this button, it all fucking goes.
And in fact, I'm glad you mentioned angels because I was thinking it's very much like the rapture because it doesn't
Yes,
destroy anything. It just takes out
takes
all
the souls.
sentient life. So,
Yeah,
like my desk, phone, laptop, all that stuff is
stays
still just
perfectly
sitting here
fine.
chilling, bro. It's
I'm
like
gone.
next.
My
I,
clothes are gone. My clothes are here. My
I'm
spirit
gone.
is gone. I'm
Yeah,
gone.
yeah.
This is very biblical now that you think about it. Strangely biblical. Halo,
The prophet,
the
truth,
prophet.
just like it.
Nah,
You know what, folks? Go
huh?
play some Halo. You
Go
know what
play
I
some
mean? And
Halo.
go play
That's
some
the
Halo.
answer to this question.
I'm gonna
It.
play some Halo.
I'm gonna play some. I got Halo ready to go. I got the Xbox on, buddy. Any final thoughts before we close out this excellent lore?
Um, no, surprisingly deep, surprisingly powerful, surprisingly high stakes, as you mentioned. When I played the games, the multiplayer, all these years, I never realized what
Right
was
over your
at
head.
stake in the game. They were just cutscenes that were happening, and that
Surprisingly
shoot
deep.
stuff, needle gun.
Needle gun, plasma sword, scoop, warthog, flip it over, scoop, dog, red and blue.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, man. Play some Halo. Don't watch the series. I take it back. There are some nice parts of the series, but it's just gonna piss you off.
It just shouldn't be
Um,
called Halo. It should be called Array.
it should be called Button.
Button. You know what I mean? It just shouldn't be
Hashtag
called
Button.
Halo. It's like, yeah, we don't show Master Chief's face. What are we doing? Oh,
What are
we
we
show
doing?
Master Chief's face.
Oh, oh, the series is called Halo. Are we ever gonna go on the Halos? No. Yes, but no, not the way you
Yeah,
want it to.
we didn't even get that much of Cortana in that show.
Nope. Kinda. She was off and on.
She
She
was
was too
there.
expensive. She was there,
Yeah,
but not
she was
really
there.
there.
Yeah.
Oh man. If you like this content, always remember to hit a like on our episodes. This makes the channel grow and gives us the carte blanche to talk more about these awesome items of lore. Subscribe to the channel so that you're made aware of whenever the content is released. And comment: are we completely wrong? Are the Halos useless? And it's all Master Chief and America and guns and arbiters and the Lord. Let us know. We love the constructive criticism, and always like, comment, and subscribe. This is the channel. With that, this has been MOTM Lore. I've been your host, Mike G. He's been Wash in MOTN out. Later, ladies and gentlemen.